more videos are in person. You might have already been here the other days. But for the sake of this demonstration, we're going to call this room number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Room number 1 is going to be our burn room. That's going to be where we're going to start this fire and then burn through to room number 2, which is going to have a simulated door in it. And we're going to see the different flow paths in it by manipulating that door and door control and seeing if we can get a change in that flow path direction, that unidirectional, bidirectional. Between 2 and 3 is going to have simulated another door into that second living space, that upstairs compartment. Door number 4 is going to be completely compartmentalized and sealed off. So that will be simulating that upstairs bedroom with the closed door. Okay. So at the end of this, we're going to start and take a look at the smoke attributes that we're seeing initially, compare it to the end, and then see the involvement of each room and how much damage or little damage is based off of what we see in this demonstration, okay? So we got fire in the hole. Let's observe those smoke attributes, right? So volume is going to be based on container size. The color of the smoke dictated off of what? Material, stage of the fire, and possibly location of the fire. So what's the color of this smoke right now? White, telling us what stage? Earlier stage, moisture's burning off, right? All materials are going to start off in that white color. You ready to die out? No. Okay, let's go ahead and throw that cup there. And if the smoke comes your way, just get out of the way so you're not breathing this crap. Now, how about the velocity of it? Slow? Is it turbulent? Is it laminar? Fast? What are you saying? Slower moving? Density? Light. Okay, so we're seeing earlier stage, probably more volume pushed at this point. Doesn't have that heat push, not that turbulent smoke yet. Okay, after this wind dies out, let's look at the direction of this. Okay, we talked about a couple different directions. Still getting some influence by the wind. What is Duncan demonstrating right there? What we talked about? That's that neutral plane. That's that difference, that net zero pressure difference between that high and low pressure and that heat, right? Heat wants to rise, it's gonna have that high pressure. After this, we can open up room number 2, and we can see if we can get that direction change in that flow path, right? So all we're gonna do first is just open up room number 2. Okay, what's the smoke look like in there? You can compare the two. Changes in velocity, right? Room number 1's a little bit faster moving. Room number 2, a little bit slower moving, but you're getting a little bit of pyrolysis, right? So let's see if we open that door into room number 2, between the two, what's gonna change? Okay, so here shortly, you're probably going to start seeing a difference in flow path, that direction of that smoke. And probably open up one. So we're going to start seeing room number 1 become a vent. We're transitioning more towards that, what kind of flow, that direction. We're getting there. What direction is it going to move towards? Unidirectional. We have an exhaust that's going to start coming out of 1 with an intake coming into room number 2. Okay? Again, that's telling us that unidirectional flow is telling us there's more than one opening. Okay? Because in order to have a pure exhaust, you have to have another opening, an inlet. Start opening up 2 or 3. We can open up 3, just not the door, not the door. Okay, so as we start opening up 3, fire is going to start to build in room number 2. I want you to look and observe those conditions in there. Think of that survivability profile, because smoke's killing our victims, right? That's where our fatalities are, smoke inhalation, 75% or more. Look at the conditions there. Now we're gonna make that flow path move upward, that upward lateral spread. And we're gonna open up the doorway between the two. Don't choke it out. Huh? Trying to backdraft? Okay, so we saw the backdraft right there. Really quick, it wasn't as dramatic as we got it before, but you had that quick auto ignition coming out, and that's indicating that buildup of fire, and then opening that doorway uncontrolled and backdraft on you. Okay, so is the attic open?
Yeah, it's starting to come out the gable, just a hair back here.
Okay, well, we'll leave it out then. So we'll open up the floor between 2 and 3 and allow that, observe the conditions again in room number 2 and how drastically they're gonna change. So you're gonna get that lift, right? But now you have overhead, that fire moving upward, and it's following that smoke. That's that flow path, that smoke moving upward. Changing our smoke attributes now. Compare it to the beginning, okay? Color change, darker. What do we say about darker smoke? Hotter. Higher velocity, starting to get thicker, okay? But our visibility in that room is now improved, so we can now make that access and make that grab if we need to. And we can do some transitional and knockdown on that fire as we're working in that room, okay? This is why vertical vent's gonna be important. So we'll move to vertical vent. IC coordinates with fire attack coordinates with vent, vice versa. That we're gonna open up the roof, okay? Any change? We cut our hole. What are we missing? Punch through the attic? Let's punch through the attic. Okay? So we see that flow path, how it's moving upward. Smoke is fuel. We got that auto ignition that was coming out of the roof. Okay? We can start choking it down, closing it back up. See if we can simulate that backdraft again done. Okay, so now you're getting that more turbulent flow. Oh, you might have died out. See if we can get back up. Boom. So that was more of like that auto ignition. We're reaching that 1200 degree mark for that flashover, right? So dark smoke, more turbulent, getting thicker in density. Now let's look at room number 4. So I staged some little Green Army guys in here, and afterwards you can see their survivability if they survive. But there was Green Army guys in room number 2, 3, and 4. Okay? Look at the conditions of room number 4, indicating that would be like that closed door within a structure. So we've been talking about in my lecture, VEIS, and how important it is to beeline once you enter that structure, that room. We're passing those initial victims and closing that door, because instantly that door control is going to make that room that much more tenable and the conditions a lot better, because we already have that vent, that smoke ejection, and then we're isolating that door. Okay, so I want you guys afterwards, if we got the time, just peek your head into that room number 4 and see. This is like our 6th demonstration of this, so that room number 4 has almost been virtually untouched. You might get a little bit of melt in those Army guys, but they've usually been pretty well recognizable as opposed to the other 2 rooms. So that's basically a demonstration, and you get this thing cranking pretty good, right? So this is that fully developed, fully involved stage, and we're looking at defensive. So the talking point on this is if you're going to be doing ventilation and opening doorways and windows, it needs to be coordinated, because otherwise, if we saw in room number 1 when it initially started, we could initially made a push in there for fire attack. We could have done a rescue. But when we opened up the doorway between the 2 and opened up room number 2, we saw that flow path change, and now you have fire above you, coming at you or behind you. Okay? So some of you may have heard of Stilt Court and that incident of opening up windows and whatnot, uncoordinated. So it's not just our victims, but it's also us operating in there as well. It's going to be the both of us. Okay, so we'll get extinguishment on this and let the steam off. Captain Lemos, unless there's any questions on this. Captain Lemos will do a 1403 walkthrough of the